Hi guys and welcome. Today we're going to be putting together some scrappy books with staggered pages. So they're a great little book to put some extra journaling space inside your journals, or they're a little journal within your journal. So they're a lot of fun and a great way to use up your scraps. So I've just pulled out some papers this morning. Now the idea of this one is you've got all different size pages and they're all hanging out, so you can sort of see all the pages in a sense. No measuring, so just what you got. You can use a ruler. I've got this beautiful decal edge ruler that I use for my tearing. So I just start with a fairly sturdy bit of cardstock initially. So just basically work with what you've got. We're going to be doing a little bit of decorating as well, but at the moment we're just going to throw some pages together, all different sizes. So I'm just going to go through and fold what's on my desk here. So this is a book page, so I'm just going to, and I may, actually I'll use that one. I may trim it down a little bit more as well. So I'm going to have it hanging out the length, but not so much the width. All these little strips, keep them as well. We may do some ruching with them, just as a little bit of a decorative. You can use your cover for a bit of a guide as to how far you want it hanging out. Like that, and they're not designed to just go straight like that. We're going to be staggering it like that a little bit as well. You get the idea of that. I've got some this is just printed on plain coffee, not coffee dyed paper, just plain copy paper. So you can see the widths are all different. So this one I might just have hanging out top and bottom. Bit of coffee dyed paper, always great for journaling. And I love the coffee dye because it becomes, I actually do mine in the oven. So I soak quite a pile in a baking dish of quite strong coffee. And I pull it out in a batch and I just put it straight into a baking tray. And then as the top layer dries, you can peel it off and you can work through your bundle. They don't stick together, so it's a really great way to do a bit of a volume of paper. I'm just trimming off a little bit top and bottom. I'll just go a little bit more. It's quite flimsy, like I said. It's becomes quite a stiff paper, like a parchment. Very sturdy, great for stamping labels and tags. And so I'm just sort of throwing some in there, and we'll decide what we're going to use. I was mopping up some ink, so this is a book page. I might just tatter up the end on this one so it matches the other side. And I'll just take the straight edge off here. You can put as many pages in as you like, so I'm just throwing some in there for the time being. And these are more digitals. I might trim that down that way. And then we'll pick out how many pages we want to use. And Let me see. So this is a digital as well. Just on plain white copy paper, and then we can add some inking to that if we want to grunge it up a little bit, which you don't have to. You might just go all plain. Don't ever throw these pieces out. They're really handy like that. Even though it's got the lines on it, you could stamp a word on that. That there can go in a cluster. You can use it for collage, on a tag. They're great. Anything with a print on it is great to add a little bit of interest or texture to a page or a project. Might take just a little bit more off that one. Lovely. All right, so let's pick out a few pages. So we definitely want the cover, and then we might put a decorative in there. So do we want it hanging out the top? Actually, we might just go a bit top and bottom there. Don't know whether I want that one. Bit of book page, and I'm going to have this one hanging out the bottom. So you can sort of see the idea around the staggering. That one's going up the top. And some of these you may not see a lot of the pattern. So that one I'm going to turn upside down because I want the lace hanging out the bottom there, and then the book page up the top, copy dyed in the middle. So you sort of get the idea of, you know, how we're staggering it, because it's a little bit of art in itself. Now in there I sort of want I think just a strip of something. So we might even, let's strip this one down a bit. And we can put a little tab on that one. All right, so love how that looks. So now we're going to, you can staple that. So if you've got like a cutting mat and a stapler, you open your stapler right up and you cut it. But I'm actually going to stitch mine. Very quick process. Once again, we're not measuring. I just get an awl or a pokey tool, and then I just put, I'm just going to do a standard 3 stitch in there. Normally I would clip this together, but we've got such staggered pages. I don't have a big enough clip with me. Oh, let's try this one just to keep it in some sort of order. But no, it's not going to. That might clip some of it together. And then I'm just going to grab my needle and thread. Once you've stitched a journal, so if you're just starting out, this is probably the quickest way, or the quickest way to do is just a three stitch. Get yourself some bookbinding needles. They've got like they're not too sharp on the end, and they've got a nice big eye, so you can get the thread through, just putting on my glasses, get the thread through really quickly. And then we just go through the center hole first, so out the other side, just pull it so there's a bit of a tail. We go in that hole up the top. Like I said, it's not clipped, so it'll just take a bit to line up. So just pull that firm, and then we're going to go back through the center. So like I said, this is a great project to get rid of all your scraps. So just pull that firmly, and then we're going to tie it. So just in a basic knot. If you want your tying on the outside, then you start on the outside in with your first stitch, but we've gone from the inside out because I want the thread in the middle. And look, you can leave the tag on that and then hang something off the bottom of it. I'm not going to for this exercise. So then we just want to just get our bit of our bone scorer, bone folder, and just put it down. So that's our start of our book. Now we're going to do some decoration to it. So I'm just going to move this paper so it's better for you to see. And keep my scraps there. So I want to start the cover off. So what we might do is a little bit of a paper ruching / ribbon. So all I'm doing is folding the paper in like a zigzag pattern like that. If you can hear that noise, that's rain on the roof. So we've had a fair bit of rain, so it looks like it's going to be a bit of a rainy day today. And then I will just put a dab of glue inside the creases, and that will just hold it down like that. And then I'm just going to get another piece. So this one's probably a bit longer. Now you can sew down this, add some zigzag decorative stitching. So I don't want to get my machine out for a small project like this, so I've actually got a stamp that I'm going to use, and it'll show you that it's a very similar look. Bit messy with the glue there, and then on the back you can also glue within the creases again to make it sit flat. But what I've found, the easiest way is to just get a strip of, whether it's the same paper or just a scrap strip of something, and just lay it on the back, and it'll just hold it all down. I'm just tying off the ends because we don't want the back coming out over the front. Same with this one. So this is just coffee dye paper that I'm working with here. Lovely, so we've got two ruching. So if you want it longer, you work with a longer strip of paper. But a lot of the times, if you're just doing a cluster, you're working with smaller pieces anyway. So this stamp set I've got, it's just one off AliExpress, and I'm using the zigzag side today. I'm going to stamp it with black archival ink. And just straight through the middle. So you can see that it gives a stitched effect through there. So you're getting the same look as if you stitched it. You don't have the, the threads hanging off, but you still get a good effect. And then I'm going to stick it on my front cover. which way do I want to go? Oh yeah, I want the flaps going down. Lovely, and I'll keep that one off to the side to use later. All right, so we want to just decorate the front of it a little bit. So you can do that by stamping, you can put clusters on there, you can add some stickers. So I'm going to have a little bit, I've kept all these Kaiser Craft stickers, and I really like this one here, but I don't want the whole lot, because obviously my book is not that. All right, lovely. So it is a sticker, but I'm going to add some glue on it as well, just to make sure that it doesn't come off. And then just cut that end bit off there. So down here, I might just put a cluster of some kind. So I've got my container of clusters here. So let's have a bit of a rummage through. What's this one? Actually, I like that one. So just make sure. Decisions. Actually, I do like the green, because that first page has got a little bit of green in there, so we might use that one. Look, it's great to have a stash with ready-made ephemera like this. Now, I do have some videos on these clusters, so you know, go into my channel, into my playlist, and check them out. If I remember, I will definitely link them below in the description. But it's a great, well, it's one, it's very relaxing making clusters, and two, you use up your scraps. That one's doesn't want to stick because there's a bit of material under it. But we'll just hold it down for a minute. And I'm thinking of a word across the top as well. So I've got some pre-stamped words that I will have a look at. I'll press that down again in a minute when it's dried a little bit more. Maybe a date. Keep that one off to the side. Like a bit of the red as well. Another thing I like to do with your scraps is I sit down and I get out my word stamps, and you know, I stamp out a heap of words. They're just handy. I don't necessarily cut them down. As you can see, I've left that one thick because I may want to just cut around it or cut it down really thin, but you don't sometimes really know until you have got your project in front of you. Don't mind that. Numbers too, so you know, I'm a big believer, if you got your stamp set out, then utilize all your stamps, because you just never know when you are going to use them. So we could go like that and then go like that. Could definitely do that. So I might cut that important down a little bit. We might ink it up. I might keep those dates out because we might use them on the inside. So we're going to do a little bit of, not too much, because these books are designed, you know, for extra journaling space, but I always like to throw a few things on pages just to give you a little bit of interest as you're going through as well. Because like I said, it's sort of like a mini journal within a journal. And I've cut that down fairly close. And I'm just going to ink the edge just to define it a little bit. And the inking will blend it into the colour of the background as well. I'm going to ink this one, not too much because we haven't done a lot of inking on the rest. Can throw a bit of ink just down there just to blend it in. So that one will go across the top. And then the special delivery, I'm going to put it on a slant so it effectively will look like we've, you know, stamped it over the top when it's come in. Okay, lovely. So let's go inside our Staggered book. And let's have a bit of a flip through as to what we want to do. So we might cover that a little bit. Let's put a little bit of a journaling space on there. And to do that, I'm going to use coffee dyed paper. And I'm just going to sort of tear it to size. Just because, you know, because that's so bold, we won't be able to journal on it. And I always like to have as much journaling space as possible. And we'll do 2 of these because we know that there's another side to this one. Not a lot of measuring going on. I'll take a bit more off the edge. And the underneath pattern will highlight as a border. So just putting one over the other just to measure it, getting a roughly the same size. We might throw a little bit of ink on those, not too much, just to take that raw edge away. I'm going to glue them on. So I'm going to use glue stick. It covers the background quicker. So if you're working on bigger pieces, a glue stick's really handy to have on your desk. And then if we go to the other side, there it is. So flipping through again. We might just put something down there just in the way of maybe words or something. Maybe that, actually. Even though it's got writing on the back, you can still journal on these. So I don't sort of want to cover up too much down the bottom, but I do want to have, you know, just something in there. Actually like that. I love little floral pieces or botanical pieces throughout a journal. There's just something about a little bit of greenery. So we pop that on there. So it sort of decorates it, but it doesn't take away too much journaling space. And I just want to grunge that stark white up a little bit like that. I'll go over and do the back as well. And while I'm going, it's just the white pages, not too much, but just to blend it in with everything else. You can also do some stenciling on here. Now the back cover, so we might put a little pocket on that one, I think. We just get some of our cardstock that we had out earlier. Rummage through, see what we've got. Like I said, it's a rough, very rough measure. You can measure it exactly if you want. Just going to trim a bit more off. I'm going to straighten that edge up a little bit. Trim a bit more off there because we want it to fold too, so we don't want it buttered up too far. So I've got a little bit of a border right around. Now if I can find my hole punch, my circle punch rather, I might put a bit of a notch in it. I'll just use this one. And then we might just throw some ink just to get rid of the raw edge. And then we'll glue him down. And then you've got a little pocket. You can add a little notebook in there. You can just fold up some coffee dyed paper and put in there. You can put a tag in there, a journal card, which we might do a journal card. But let's throw something on there. So let's find something really flat in our cluster. So I don't want to add too much width. Bring it back over so you can see as we go through. You might get some ideas. So that's a nice little flat one there. I think I like that one. So that one's, you know, a stamped butterfly. It does come in a little frame. I think it's a Hero Arts background stamp from memory. And I've just used crimping shears to make it like a stamp. And I like to put a bit of decoration on, especially my front and back covers, in the way of pockets or tucks. Sorry about that, I've just dropped a stamp block. A couple of days ago I spent the day with some coffee dyed paper and a couple of stamp sets, and I've gone through with all different colours and stamped out a heap of ephemera, and really love how it's all turned out. So we've got labels, and so I'm just sort of throwing some together. Beautiful like that. Yeah, look, very relaxing. I actually then sat down and watched YouTube while I cut them all out, and I've left some of the, I hope that's not glary, I've left some of the tags blank so I can, you know, stamp on them or use them under something. We've got little tickets. Really relaxing time. It did take me a bit to cut them out, but I did it over 2 afternoons with a cuppa watching YouTube. So really great way to build up your stocks of ephemera and just have some different stuff. Yes, we all buy ephemera and we love it. You know, Tim Holtz is the bomb with everything that he has, all his lines. I actually do sell a lot of his stuff in my online craft store, but I also do love to make my own as well. Just gives you variety through when you're creating, just like that. So pop that one off to the side. Let's go to the front, and we might put a tuck in the front, so a bit of a side tuck, I think. Let's have a look at a bit of let's just use this, I think. I might get my trimmer for that because it's a long, I need a long straight edge. What do we want, about 1.5? I'll cut a 2-inch strip too. That way we can have a look at what we like. Because sometimes I like the wider one if we're going to be decorating it too, depending on what sort of you're going to put in there. So I do like the wider one. It has both sides. This is a, pretty sure it's 49 market cardstock. Really thick. That's normally how you can tell they have really thick cardstock. It's really great to work with if you're doing covers and things like that. Just gotta find my pen. Don't throw that piece away, because, you know, we can use it for something as well. We can turn it into a little tag. Lovely. So we're going to, I'll just give that a quick ink around just to, you know, get rid of that white edge from where we've cut it. And then we're going to glue it. So rule of thumb, I put my thumb on the side I don't want to glue, because, you know, sometimes if we're talking or just go into that relaxation mode, we can actually end up gluing all sides. I definitely have done that before. Great tuck. Once again, you can put some folded coffee dye paper, you can put a little journaling card in there. You don't have to at this stage put anything in, because, you know, this is going to go inside your journal, or perhaps you might want to make one of these as like a mini journal to have a play with. Great way if you're starting out too. Some people can get overwhelmed by a big journal itself. Now I might just put a strip of something down there. Like I said, I've got these stickers that will go on there. I've got word ones, lace, clocks. I actually like the clocks. I might use the clocks. And let's go down to this clock. These are Kaiser Craft. Sometimes you get them in a pack with your papers. And you might think, oh, I'll never use those because you've bought it for the paper. But always keep them, because little projects like this, or, you know, just adding a little bit of decoration, rather than just stamping all the time, can be, just adds a little something different. And then we can either stamp something down there, we can put a date. Might keep, this is a long date. Let's put that one there. And I'm thinking we might need something under it. Let me trim it down. So you remember I said just before, stamping on all your scraps. I'll show you. I've got a pile of offcuts from a previous project that I've got off to the side. So when I do get my stamps out and I want to stamp some dates or signatures or words or even numbers, then I've got the pile there ready to go, and then I can just add it. This container's got a bit of everything in it, so just bear with me. I've kept some, as you can see, offcuts. These ones are done with a border stamp. It's actually after this one. Because I like that edge, but it's a very similar colour. Let's see, I've got a green one here. So these border punches, they're absolutely fantastic. I've had them for a long time. I still do have these in my shop. And I hadn't used them, but of late, because I, used to make a lot of cards, and of late I have got them out and doing a lot of this once again with your scraps, all those strips, and then you have them on hand. That's just done with the pinking. Scissors. Actually, I like that, but I'm going to just trim that one down a little bit. And that's another border stamp. So I just, punch. I just punch my scraps, because you just never know when you're going to need them. That was just a piece of stamped left over, and I got the pinking shears out and I did the edge, because when you're making clusters, you use a lot of little stuff like that. As you can see, that container is quite empty to what it usually is, because I've gone through and, as you've seen by my little cluster container, put a fair bit together. Not inking too much, just taking those raw edges off. Like I said, going to now glue that on there. I'll put the glue on the shorter piece, that way we haven't got glue hanging out either end. It can get quite messy. And then on the back of our word, or in this case it's a date. So in itself, you've made a little strip cluster. So you can have a lot of these in your stash as well to go through, and they're great for these side tucks. Depending on your journal, you could have it up the top and have it as a top page tuck, or just a title. So I've purposely not taken that over the edge because this is a tuck. We don't want it damaging that punched border. Okay, so that's that one. This one I like by itself. Over here, let's grunge the page up a bit. I like that for journaling. Journaling on the back. Let's put a little something on here. And I like to put it on the harder, the thicker pages, if we're adding something to it. And I'm mindful going through that I'm not putting thickness in. I'm putting quite flat things in there. I'll bring the drawer over again. We've got some journaling cards down the bottom. Let's go to the bottom and see what it's got. Pull a few up the top. A lot of my bigger ones, might keep that out. Oh, it's raining quite heavily now. So I like the buttons, but they do add a bit of thickness, and I don't want thickness on this occasion. Actually, I like that one. And I'm going to leave this as a little pocket itself, so I'm just going to glue around there. So you can see the beauty of these little, I call them strip clusters. You know, they're just strips of something. And now that's a little pocket. It's decoration. We can still journal up the top here. It's also a pocket, so we can put some, let's put some tickets in there. There we go. And you can put a little, you know, you can add like a little journaling card in there as well. So that one, I can round the corners of that one and we can have it as a journaling card. I'll just pop it off near the tag there, flop it over. This one here, I'd like to put something up the top here. Just something fairly plain. So we've got, basically we've got a bug there. We could go a bug. Yeah, let's do a bug. It's actually not that one. I'll have to take that one off and redo because it's, I just noticed the writing's upside down to the bug. Actually, let's go that one on the edge. We can do it as a pocket. I will just glue down there and have it as a little tuck as well. Or it can just remain as decoration. And it's great too because it adds as a page edge. which can help strengthen that side. Do we want to? There, let's corner around this one first and have it as a little journaling card. So we've got journaling space front and back. I like the darker side that's going to go in there because of such a white background, which we just want to grunge up a little bit. But it's got some leftover, I think that was like the border of the page. So I'm going to put something on that, I think. And it might be just something simple. Let's just scrub our edges out again. See what we got in here in the way of a strip. So we've got this ticket here, so let's cut a strip off it. I think we'll just have the numbers, so let's stick that on there. And then we're just going to cut around. Just want to ink it again. Oops, I've dropped it. Got the dropsies today, I think. Pop that one back. Those plastic drawers, they're great to have on your desk. You can just grab for them. All right, so that's just a little journaling card. You know, we could stamp a little bug there or a butterfly or something. I'm just gonna, because we've got it here, I'm just going to leave it plain, but you can see how that can tuck in there. And then if you want, you can put some folded coffee dyed paper under there as an extra page. Again, it will hold it down. So just flicking through to see what we want. I might just add say a border on this one. Let's go with the leaf, because I love the lace so much I don't want to cover it up. I'm just going to cut the edge off that. Just went over a little bit, and because it's sticky, we don't want anything sticking our page together. So I guess the best thing when you're doing this is have a lot of things out on your desk. You know, it's I might put a word across there too. Have a lot of things out on your desk that you may or may not use, and a lot of the times you're just sort of grabbing and trying things rather than getting up every time you want to try one thing. Don't know whether I want the same colour. Let's go a number. Let's go a number, and I like the colour of that as well. Just a quick inking, and then we're just going to stick it up the top. So you can still journal over that. I like using papers that aren't too dark in these, because we want to be able to still journal over the top of them. Just a bit of grunge, just to take that stark away. So we might, with that one, we might just put a tab on this one. So I've got some pre-cut tabs here. Let's go with the darker side. So this is a great way to use your scraps as well. So if you've got label or tag punches or die cuts, I tend to do a lot together at the same time. We might put an eyelet in that as well. Just feel like it needs something down there. Maybe, maybe not. I'll keep that one out, I like that one. About just a number. About just a number there. Yep, that looks great. These are stamped on some wrapping paper that come in an order. So it's great to have different textures and papers and things like that in there as well. Now I'm thinking the fragile will probably go up the top there. Might have some tickets or something with it. Give it a bit of a postage look. Let's glue them down. So like I said, if you've got things on hand that are already done, like these stamped on coffee dyed paper that you can go to, they're great little elements. Same as, you know, you're already probably using your labels in this way, just sort of like a little cluster. It's a great way just to add that little bit of texture or point of interest on there. And of course you don't have to decorate inside of these. You can just purely leave them as the staggered pages scrappy books. You know, if you're an art journaler too, this is a great way to start off a little art journal. Throw all your pages together. I'm going to put a word up the top there, I think, and leave it as that. I might do this very light coloured one. I really like it, and it needs to go on a plain-ish background. I might also get my black archival and see if I can just do the edge. See how it just finely, I've got it sloped a little bit to the front. Just gives it a little bit more frame or dimension around that. Should we put a number under there? Let's do this one. Okay, beautiful. Now I've got two plainish pages together here, so definitely I think something to frame that, like we could ink it, which we might do to define it. Define it a bit more. So that's way better. We want to define the edge on this one too. But I also want to put something up the top there, just to draw the eye that it is like a separate page. And we want to still keep, if we can, our as much journaling space as possible. So I'm just bringing over, so something smallish. Probably just that, I think. So that is just cardstock, similar to I use on that, and then that's a printable label that we've stuck on there. And see how we're not covering up all our journaling spot, but it's still drawing the eye up to there to state that it is a separate page. And it's nice and flat, we're not adding bulk in there at all. So what we do on the next page is we might put a word up there. So looking at it down there, it will look like a complete page, and then we turn that over and that's still its own page. What word do we want to put up? We want a fairly long one across the top, or maybe even a date. So you can sort of see how much I have used my stamped, might keep the 5 out, my stamped images, and I go to them a lot. Okay, we might go postcard maybe. And of course, sometimes when you, there's it stamped in. Sometimes when you've got too much choice too, that can sort of go against you a little bit. I'm just going to grab my pinking shears, and we might turn this one into a bit of a ticket. So I'm only going to do top and bottom, but I am going to make it a bit thinner because I want it to stand out on that side page like that. Keep those two, they're great for clusters. And that one I'm going to leave with a straight edge. And I'm not going to cut it down too much. In case you're wondering, the ink that I'm using today is Distress Oxide Walnut Stain. So it is my favourite. You will see me using it a lot. And then we pop it up there. So you can see what I mean about it's its own picture together like that. Let me move the scraps. But then when we pop it over, I'm going to ink and put that there obviously, but it's its own page and heaps of journaling spaces in there as well. I actually want to add a little bit of colour down there, so I'm going to, I think I had a bit of green. in here somewhere. Yep, I did. So I've got this piece. It's wider than I want, and because I've used the pinking shears down there, I can actually just cut it to the size that I want. So like a bit of a stamp background, and then I'm going to, and then that just adds a little bit of colour, plus it also makes the number pop just that little bit more. Like that. So it's about layering too. It's about, you know, what you like, what draws your eye. So I'm going to pop that one down there. And, you know, theoretically, we could have popped, if it's too dry. Let's, can't get it too far under, but let's just pop a bead of glue down there. And that'll tie it in together. So I was watching someone the other day, and I forget who it was, so I'm so sorry. If it was you, please comment below. And they, when they're layering like this, they actually don't glue the bottom until the last, because, you know, they always want to tuck things under. But we've managed to do that in this case. So if we close that up like that, we've got this beautiful picture, and then we open that up, we've got that picture on there as well. So these pages, I'm just going to leave blank. This one here, I just think it needs something across the top. I don't really like that there. So we might maybe just do a paper cluster, sort of just like a do some tearing and some strips. Maybe we've got pink down there, so we could see how it just covers it up. Just makes it more pleasing to the eye. I think it's body diagrams. So this is a medical book of some sort. But I love the thickness of the pages on this one. I don't really want to ink it too much. I just want to get rid of that torn white edge. Same with this one. And then we're just going to stick it down. So it's a little bit of a collage on the page. And I mean, if you want, you can add something onto that, like a number or a word or something. You know, we could put a number there, which we might do. So imagine working through this and you had to stamp out every time you wanted something. You just would be here forever and a day. So it's really great just to have stuff already printed on hand, ready to go. I mean, you could do so much with that, but that's, I think, just leaving it simple. And yes, you can still journal over that. On the back here, don't necessarily like the person, so we might just put a square of coffee dyed paper on there, and we could layer some paper under it. Let me get a better piece. my ruler. Something as simple as that. You could, you know, throw some stamping on there if you wanted to. We're going to just glue that one on. I'll just, actually I haven't done that edge. So it's very easy to cover up, you know, if there's a picture or some wording on when you're using book pages that you don't like. Remember, the purpose of this is to have journaling space. So, you know, we're going to that's what we want to do. We want to put as much journaling space in these as we can. And like I said, you don't have to decorate it like I have, but it's pleasing to the eye as you flip through it. Beautiful, lovely. Might do, just put a word on this one, I think, so we don't add too much bulk. Actually, might go that one. And I might do decorative edge just for something different, because I've already got the scissors out. We'll ink it. And I like this because it's fairly light paper and that's going on fairly light paper. So see that? It just adds a little something, but it doesn't overtake. Doesn't overtake anything. Okay, so this last page here, I think we might put something up here. Just something simple. Let's have a rummage. Have a rummage through. I really like that, but it's too bulky. What about a paper clip, because we can take that out if we want, but I need to put something on there. Actually, I just like that. Yep, something simple just for that top corner, because you know we've got a lot of stuff going on down here, so we just want to, I'm not going to do it as a tuck or anything, it's just going to be decoration. But once again, it's utilizing your clusters, and how simple is that? It's 2 border punch pieces of scrap with a ticket stuck to it, and it's so flat. And you've got all this journaling space down there. So we're just going to put a couple of things in the pockets, and then we might tie a ribbon on the binder just to finish it off. I mean, you could keep going, like I said, if you were making this a journal, so to speak. Well, I guess, you know, it's a journal within a journal. You know, we have done a lot of work when we go through and flip through everything. You know, we could add something to this page as well. Something across the top, which we could just do. There's that border that I cut out. Here it is. You know, we could just put that up the top. I do want to do want to cut around that though, because we don't need that square bit off the edge. And if you don't have stickers, you can definitely stamp something across there as well. You know, it just adds a little something. Where was that page where we put the... So this one here, we've got the Stark and the Stark again. So same as the back page. So we need to put a little something up. So it's good to flip through before you call it a day, and just, you know, you just sort of rediscover little things. So I do like, that's like a little stamp, but I think it needs something behind it as well. Actually, let's have a look. Let's just do that. And actually might have something under there. Just something. Probably not green. What about red? It's got a little bit of red in it. Okay, so like a little cluster up there. Just go around the edge of this one. Just distress it a little bit, just to define it, because it's going light paper on light paper, so we don't want it to get lost, because, you know, it's stamped in green. See how that now makes it pop? That one I can't, I can, but it'll rub off. It's on like a glossy cardstock. Lovely. So yeah, just like a little cluster. Click through. I'm going to leave that as is, because it's beautiful coffee dyed paper. If you wanted to do some stamping on there or some stenciling, definitely. We've got that page over there. Love this. Might need maybe a word down the bottom just to define it from that page down there as well. So let's just grab a word, something fairly simple. Maybe that, factory. Now that's torn. I wonder if I can just tear the top a little bit more. Fiddly when you get down to thin strips. But this also will correspond with the number over the other side. It's lovely. I might put a strip of something under there. What have we got? Maybe that. I feel like we need something reddish. Lovely. Let's just stick that down. I'm so glad I stamped these out and cut them out yesterday. I just got a feeling I'm going to use them a lot. I'm not even going to tidy that up because a lot of it, see how it's got that corner? It's going under here anyway, so you're not going to see it. Now we're going to put that tag in there, if I can find where it went, that beautiful tag that we kept out. If not, I will have to get, oh there it is, right under our nose. I'm just going to ink it, I'm not doing anything to it, it's already on beautiful paper, but I am going to put an eyelet in it, and then I'm going to put a couple of eyelets in the tabs as well. We might add a tab here and there as well, just to do a final flick through. So grab my crocodile. Certainly getting a mess. I'll put these numbers away. That'll clean my desk up a little bit. I'll also show you the prototype that I made yesterday for this video, and it'll just, you know, have a few things different in it that you'll be able to see. Just clean this desk up. Find my eyelets, there they are. Keep a couple out. Might do a quick journaling card for in there as well. Where are we going to? Yep, I might put a tab on that one. Just find one that sort of plainish, I guess. But this one, it's a bit floral, so it'll go with that, and I'll ink it up. Glue him on. So I always tend to gravitate to the bigger hole on here. I haven't really done a lot with mini eyelets. I must get some. I'd like a tab up there, if anything, for, you know, decoration. Yeah, I was tidying up my scraps the other day and pulled out a lot of pieces and went through and punched out a lot of tabs like this. So I've got a good variety of colours and papers that I used. Excuse my head if it's coming into shot. Sometimes to line things up, I'd rather it be in camera shot than me pulling it away to do something and you miss out on this step. So I've got a few tabs on there. I'm going to make 2 little journaling cards to go in those spots. See if I've got some scrap cards here in my drawer. Okay, so I'm just going to work out. So basically need a bit off each. Grab my trimmer. Fit. And so that one is basically nearly 3.5 by 4.5, so we'll go a similar size. Give them a corner round, and you don't have to round the corners if you don't want, entirely up to you. You could put a very light background stamp on that to give it a bit of texture if you wanted to. I'm actually going to leave them plain. It's just going to take off that dark edge. Do front and back, because journaling cards, you do pull them out and you know you've got your front and your back to journal on. You could of course add, you know, add stickers on there, but the purpose is to have just all that extra journaling space. And look, I've probably done more to this one than what I would normally, but I like to have a bit of a flow through the book as well. I think I like the darker colour here in the front. You know, you could put a word down there if you wanted to. Our other spot, where was, I think we were doing it in the back. You can add more pockets inside, but you don't want it too thick, and I'll show you why. So we're just going to pop that one back there, but you can add, you know, notebooks. You've got that's not a tuck, that's decoration. That's not a tuck. You've got all this journaling places. I feel like we just need something up there, and then we'll put some ribbon on it, and then that one will be done. What do we want up there? Sorry, I'll pull this over so you can see my thought process. We've got that and that maybe. Maybe maybe I do like that, but I just wanted something fairly simple. I think I'll go with that because it sort of matches. Matchy matchy. Okay, so let's pop some ribbon on the spine here. And when you have that in your journal, it will flatten down a bit. Like I said, I've probably done more work inside this, so we've sort of effectively turned it into a mini journal, but the purpose is to have more journaling space. And with the stitch, I'm just holding it out and threading a bit of seam binding through here. And I'm just going to pop it tied in a knot. And that's done, guys. So scrappy books with staggered pages, you can see that they're a little mini art all in themselves. Absolutely so much fun. Great too if you're starting out and you want to practice because you're throwing scraps together. Absolutely cool little junk journal that adds so much journaling space to, you know, your existing journal. So, you know, how these are designed, you could get a belly band and, you know, you find the middle and you slip it inside a belly band. I don't have a journal on the go here at the moment, but let's pretend. I'll just staple that and show you what I mean. So that's inside your journal. Find the center and pop it through. Obviously these pages are a little bit tad big. Actually, just let me move that staple a bit so we're not too far off the mark. Staples on that one. Get my little attacher. Grab the middle. Sorry, not prepared to demonstrate this, but I really want you to see the purpose of it. And you can make these any size you want. So that's now sitting inside your journal. You close your journal, it will flatten down. I've used my bone folder to score it down a little bit. But you know, inside, imagine that inside your journal, and you've got all this extra journaling space. Look at that. And they're, you know, little points of interest throughout. That's your belly band. Pull that off so we can continue to flick through. Just like that. I'll show you my other one, my prototype that I did just quickly. So very similar concept. I've just stuck tickets. That's actually a little pocket on the front there. Once again, you know, we've just embellished it. We can tuck some paper under there. That's a top tuck. We can put a little notebook under there. These are for a swap. I'm in a Junk Journal Creative Swaps in Oz is the Facebook page. So if you live in Australia, join up to that, guys. It's so much fun. And each month they have a series of, that's a pocket in there too, of things that you can join up to. You can go in it as many times as you like. This I'll do a little bit more to this one, but it was the prototype of what we were doing today. But yeah, absolutely so much fun. Have a go at them. Slide the knot back up there. Have a go at them. They're so much fun, and it's a place you can go to just create, and then put them inside your journal as well, or just have them as a spare little journal on its own. The side tabs there, you know, you can put a bulb pin in there and hang a charm off it. But have a go at these, guys. I hope I've inspired you today, and you've got some ideas out. But you know, have a lot of this type of thing laying around. It just makes this process so much fun, where you can just, you know, try things and stick them on and just have so much fun. Thanks guys, appreciate your time today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks guys, bye.